Now we're all good. G'day guys, welcome back. We're working on Statue of Liberty, the Green Goddess, and we're just going to continue from exactly where we left off. I'm excited. Brand new set of plates, which is fairly exciting. And I think I'd like to open up with blue. Blue sounds nice to me. A little bit of blue. Let me just get this going here. There we are. Welcome on in, guys. Howdy, Mark. Bunch of that. The GAC 500. There we are. This is our paintbrush, and we are good to get started. Look, honestly, I do, but when it comes to blue, this picture, the Green Goddess, although it's got some green, the turquoise and the blues, massive role to play. Massive role to play. So, let's get started. That's the colour. And it's going to go. Ooh. Do we be so daring? I think we do. Like, you're not going to do that. See, let's really push that arm across a little bit. Let's go up on more of an angle than I've currently allowed for. There we are. Beautiful. Beautiful. And here as well. Who's that? Hey, K-Dad. Let's pull that down to there. There we go. Beautiful. That's where I'd like it. Yeah, lovely. Lovely. Up there, dead centre. We are good to go. I'm glad you like it so far. It's a bit of a wild fun piece right now. There's a few little moments that will change the proportions on just slightly as we keep going. Ever so slightly. Like the arm, I want to put that anti-clockwise by about 15 degrees. The head will refine itself as time goes on, but the chest needs to spread a little bit more. I haven't fully allowed for that yet. G'day Mark, how we doing? Now, I was going to be out in nature today. Oh, so g'day Jay, how we doing? It's going on 10 to 10, and nature was on the agenda, but what happened was the rain came on in, so I thought rather than just not doing anything, I'll come out here and we'll work in a hangar instead. So we're in a shed / hangar today, just having some fun with Liberty. That's the plan. Stop the live and take us out into the balcony. I like your passion. No. Today, we're going to spend the time painting. And the balcony does sound amazing. I'd love to do that, but I'm very, very passionate to give this picture some love right now. So, although I know you'd love to see a balcony, we might have to hold fire on that. There we go. Beautiful. that layering up I was talking about. We've been quite brash with it, just allowing those colours to get a little bit more true in a few spots and build it out a wee bit more. That's the plan. That's the plan. You'll notice that the actual colour palette that we have here for most of Liberty isn't actually her true colours. But enjoy this part here because we get to see alternate styles of Liberty at the moment before she comes into her regular set, we'll say, of colours. So the first layer in its wilderness is designed to help us form a connection with the painting and allow just wild paint to go everywhere. But now, I'm going to capture some of those bigger tones, get a bit more reality into it, and then the occasional wild, crazy brushstroke, and we'll just see what direction that takes us in. What's that there? Why cover a different colour paint with another paint that seems to completely cover it? It's a good question. Why cover a paint with a different colour of paint that seems to cover the paint? So this paint here isn't covering the paint. You're looking at what is 50% transparency. I add different fluids and liquids into the paint to thin it. So if you've seen Photoshop or if you've seen transparent things in the past, like looking through the world through a transparent butterfly wing or that's a bad example, that's a terrible example. Just imagine looking through something transparent. You get depth to it. You can see more than just one flat colour. If one flat colour was all that was required, you'll be talking about time per inch rather than time per artwork. You see, there will be bits that we do lose, but out of every stroke that we previously made, what seemed right at the time, we might disagree with now or later, and we're allowed to change our minds on the journey of making a painting. We're allowed to come at it from different directions, reapproach it in different ways. And that's what I'm going to do. And if I genuinely wanted to cover something completely and make it disappear, I'd also do that. And I wouldn't feel bad about it. It'd just be part of the process. Is it starting? We started this one yesterday. The day before yesterday. And the day before yesterday is when we started it. We did it live on Instagram, but now we're here. But that fear, when you're like, why are you covering up some of the paint? That fear of covering up paint when you're making a piece of artwork, that can control you. The fear of destroying what you've made can completely stop you from ever figuring out what something can be. Like if you've got a company or a business or relationships, the ability to actually figure out what's not making this as great as it can be, and then effectively removing it from the picture, or not allowing it to actually control the way you now approach the picture, absolutely vital, absolutely vital. And yet, we're so keen to hang on to things and say, no, I'm going to keep this. Even though it's not perfectly what I'm after, I'm willing to leave it on the face of this and control every future brushstroke I make. See, that's just not going to be constructive in the long term for your artwork. That's going to give you a result that you're wondering why you're not happy with it, and you actively set out to sabotage it because you decide to settle for things that you didn't believe was perfect in your mind's eye. And you're like, well, how do you judge what's perfect? Well, hold on a second. This. Like I said, guys, we're in a hanger, so we're going to use this. This is a, if you can see it, this is a lifting tool, but it's what I need to put the picture on, because I want to spread that colour out fairly across the surface. Pretty funny. G'day Steve, how are we doing? Welcome on in, good to have you here. And I didn't go live the day before yesterday. Must have been, when were we live then? We were doing, yes, on, so it was on Instagram. Now that's because I felt the Statue of Liberty was a fun one for everyone to join in on in a whole live set. Now I know I get the TikTok lives and upload them to a few places like X and where else, to YouTube and stuff, but I felt if I did it live on Instagram and then just immediately uploaded it, that would be fun for everyone to see the stages that goes through. And then, yeah, now we're still going here on TikTok, which I like. One thing that's also happened to this painting, I didn't show you, and I actually haven't showed you this before. So, you know how I talk about making sure the initial strokes are flatter against the artwork, so then the texture in the artwork doesn't control future strokes that I'm making? That's something that sometimes paint gets too thick on it, regardless, and you can't actually paint over it effectively, because when your paint hits those lumps, it carries in a different way. The previous layer affects the future layers, and you'd be like, well, that sounds nice, that sounds poetic or fun. It is fun, but sometimes that control the previous layers have, and their crazy wildness, can affect those future layers and stop them from building detail or better character into the picture. Not every stroke you made in the first instance is perfect. They're just a series of crazy wild strokes sometimes. And so the ability to shave that detail down, literally shave it down, can allow the picture to come into its own. And you'd ask, well, how do you shave it down? A couple of ways. One of the ways literally involves a shaver. You'll be like, excuse me? You can get a paint scraper, but a paint scraper to take off the larger lugs, so lumps of paint, can actually be a little detrimental, because since the paint has this flexibility to it, when the scraper hits it, it won't just perfectly pull it up like a planing tool. It might lift off chunks of paint and break through the layers aggressively. So it may not be what you're after. Only on a very, very rough, hard-handed approach would you want that. You can get a filleting knife. This is one thing I usually use because there's always one handy. And you can run a filleting knife very gently over lugs that you've noticed and just slide them off. Now the filleting knife has to be brutally sharp to reflatten the surface. The other thing you can do, you can buy one of those old school shavers. You know, the ones that have the singular blade? Not the ones with the 4 or 5 blades, a singular blade. And what you do is you look at the artwork on an angle with a light, so you can see all the little lugs. And this isn't for later layers. Texture's fine. Impasto effects are real amazing things later in the picture. But at the start, between those first 5 or so layers, just off the lumps. And that way, although you've got the colour and the craziness there, you then have the opportunity to allow the new layers, the second, the third, the fourth layers, to have their own unique character. Whereas previously, you wouldn't have been able to get that. So, one day, you'll log on and be like, where's the painting? Why is Seb holding a shaver? What? This is very, very strange. I'm not fully comfortable with this. And we'll do that. Michael, no. But I appreciate you asking each day. But, no. Now, let's grab a little bit. We're doing what's called splicing at the moment between two kinds of paint. Heavy-bodied and soft-bodied. Now, soft-bodied run beautifully. They're thin and they spread across the surface in the most beautiful ways, and heavy-bodied don't. I'll show them beside each other right here. You see that? That's the heavy-bodied. It's like butter. Buttery like an oil. This is the soft-bodied. It's almost like ink. Now, you can combine the two if you're daring. And you get all sorts of wild effects from that. Now, you don't have to combine the two, but I would like to. I think the effects you can get, it's right dead smack in the centre for me. The effects you can get from combining are just so beautiful. And if you are using heavy body on early layers, it is a lovely, lovely thing. Remember how I was saying how, at the moment, she's pushing it forward like this? Her position is this. This isn't Statue of Liberty's position. That's like, I don't know, who's the guy, Michelangelo, David reaching for God, I forget. That's not her position. Her position is Statue of Liberty. She's actually grounded. Her body's completely squared off here, and she reaches up. So her position is, this is my stance. I believe in freedom and hope. And she stands here with power of it. There's nothing reaching about the Statue of Liberty. And so if you look at the picture of her that I have, I've captured at the moment with her on a far more of a reaching angle. So we're going to adjust slightly. We're going to drop the shoulder back and bring her from this, please listen to what I'm saying, to I have a message and I'm standing by this message. That's the difference. We have to get the latter. Alright. So if you watch this arm distort itself a little bit and move itself to the left, that is what's happening there. Watching a little intentional journey take place. Beautiful. Heavy body, they're always so heavy. Heavy body is thick. They lack that chill. You're like, why do these say words? I say words like that because I want everyone to be able to understand. No chill means they're quite intense. But everyone seems to be saying no chill these days, so everyone knows that I'm desperate to be part of the in crowd. They wouldn't let me in the in crowd in high school, so now I'm trying hard in my early 30s. Maybe they'll let me in. Here we go. I don't think so. Here we go. Lovely. So you can see how, although it's just shadows, it seems like it's taking away the painting there. It's distorting it a wee bit. It's actually building it out for us. We get quite rudimentary and rough on this brush. So you start pulling the character out of this picture. Alright. And one thing I was looking at this morning, team, this will be interesting for those who've been around for a while. One thing I was looking at this morning is overalls. I've been looking at some art overalls. How do we feel about that? I know I've neglected them in the past, but they're not standard ones. So the overalls, you'll be like, but you don't get paint on yourself. Why do you want overalls? There's a reason behind this. Do you know how a firefighter has a firefighter's uniform and a policeman has a policeman's uniform? Well, I talk about looking the part to feel the part, and although I feel good wearing nice clothes, you're not a fan, Tony? Well, we love you being here. You're an absolute champion. I've been thinking actually, would it help me better get in the mental mind frame for creating art if I had some overalls? So what I was thinking was I would get some overalls that aren't, work ones. They're comfortable and fun to move in. But when I put them on, psychologically, that's like a ritual where I say, it's go time. Oh, you're not a fan of overalls? Well, give them a chance, because I ruled them off too. I ruled them out. And I'm thinking, maybe these have legs. I mean, hopefully the overalls have legs. But they won't be, don't think of like painting overalls, big and baggy. I don't do big and baggy, and the reason I don't do baggy is if I'm going to be up and close and personal with the artwork, it's really, really important that I know, see right here, I'm half an inch from the artwork. If I've got a baggy shirt and baggy pants and I'm not tucked in, what's going to happen when I get close? My clothes are going to blow against the artwork, and yeah, I'm going to get paint on myself, but more importantly, I'm going to get this paint on the artwork smeared around, because I don't have control over where my blowing fabric is on my body. And so overalls are no different. You need that level of control over what you're doing. Otherwise you don't have it. So yeah, it's early days though. It's just in the thinking process. I'm just telling you where my head's at. I've been looking at them, scrolling through overalls, considering the possibility that they could work. Do I do Tai Chi? No, but I can imagine Tai Chi would be incredibly helpful to the world of art. I can imagine you do it, find the whole process immensely satisfying. Surely, that connection with your body can only help create better art. It's one thing a lot of artists actually lack is a connection with their body. If you lack that connection with your body, art's way more tolling, because suddenly doing long marathons or stints painting become far more challenging in that your ability to actually stand or do the marathon of creating is just, I don't want to say wrecked, but it's stunted, it's tougher for you. You don't want that. This can come down through here. Beautiful. And it's going to come down in there. See, even though we're adding on the second layer though, we're still being quite brash with these brush strokes. The word brash. Brash, primal, wild. Pick your word and just go at it. I want this paintbrush too to be wrecked by the time I'm finished. This paintbrush's job is to get pushed against the surface. Hello Sonia, how you doing? A beret. Oh, a beret, the hat. No, see the thing is, the hat, you think, oh, I'd look nice in a beret while painting, only if my hair was too long and I was painting outside and the wind was blowing the hair everywhere would a hat be necessary. But actually, I like having your head free, keeping the weight off that so you can swish it around more, look around the canvas faster. If I was ever wearing a beret, it would only be because I wanted to feel more like the part, not because I actually saw something useful in the beret. And that's okay. It's okay to do something so you feel better about yourself. 90% of what we do is for that reason. But the important thing about doing it is understanding that's what you're doing it for. If you understand that's what you're doing it for, then you've got control over its impact on you. And you know that I'm going to put my beret on today because I want to feel better. And that is a very good reason to wear your beret. But if you find yourself irrationally desiring your beret and not fully comprehending why, now we've got an interesting thing. Now we need to look into that further and understand that. I say we, you, personally, by yourself, in your own alone evaluation time. There we are. It's going to come through there. Beautiful. We'll be sort of after like they go. I wouldn't get hung up on that as an idea. And I think as collectors, we try and search, because I collect a little bit of art, we try and search for what's going to be the next greatest piece of art or artist, and try and find something that will appreciate. That philosophy towards art from the start is a dangerous philosophy for you in your own fulfillment. And you should find satisfaction in finding an artist, for example, that no one else appreciates. Because what that's doing, almost in a hipster fashion, is it's you knowing that you've got a unique taste and believing in yourself to have that unique taste. That's powerful. And then the other thing I was going to say for artists, if you're so hung up on creating something that everyone would want, then ironically you'll never get it because you're not focused on what you need. If you're focused on what they want, you're not doing what you need, and if it's not something that you need deeply, intrinsically, then why would the rest of the world want it? And so it's paradoxical that at the moment you don't need great art, you start making great art. And same thing goes with collectors. The moment you're not trying to find great art, you start finding great art, essentially. Now that doesn't... I said that wrong for the collector version. The moment you stop looking for art that you think everyone else is going to want and start collecting art that you feel like you need, like you're in very much the same mindset as the artist. The artist needs to make it and the collector needs to own it. But once this desire of buying or making what you think everyone else wants, it's the most dangerous train to fall on. And that's where this art and this world of creativity and beauty that we can get in touch with as human beings, because we're conscious and random, it's absurd. But the beauty of art is lost when we start thinking about what others would want, and the whole process doesn't become art, it becomes craft. And once we're working with craft, it's fine. Craft is beautiful, craft is great, but craft is art done with repetition. And once we're doing art with repetition, we've lost that little thing that we were chasing. We've found something new. Make no mistake, craft makes money, craft makes people happy, craft provides fulfillment. But you lost that thing that you were originally, as a child, as an inspired 5-year-old or 12-year-old or a kid exploring play and art. You lost that thing. Now, I'm not saying you want that back. I'm not saying you wanted that in the first place. But if you were looking for that, don't hate, but be wary of the craft. Be wary of pleasing other people, and be wary of, if you're a collector, buying artwork to build a collection that will please other people. You know, one of the greatest things you can have as a collector is an eclectic collection, where you've actually been like, that's fun, I like that, and you've amassed this collection of things that provide you joy and fulfillment. And so if upon your deathbed your collection evaporated with you, you would not consider that collection a waste of money. That's important. And like a lot of collectors go, what am I going to do with my wealth of collection? You know, who will take it over? As it continues to appreciate, will I hire a trust for it? This is all relevant stuff, and there is money in art, and that's a real question to ask. But philosophically, for a collector, ask yourself if at the moment you passed away, your collection, say, instead of saying it ceases to exist, say all the artwork just returned to the artists, bang, and it's gone. Would it have still been fruitful for you to have amassed that collection? If the answer is yes, I found immense pleasure finding that artwork, having that artwork in my space, and it enriched my life. I don't know what you had in your collection, but you found it for the right reasons. And that's a powerful thing. It's a very, very powerful thing. Let's grab a bit of, it's going to be unusual. I've got this very, very deep royal purple. I'm going to throw some whites through it and turn it into like a pastel violet. And see where that takes us. I worked with Madonna in the 90s and she got a real Picasso. Lots of money for it. Yeah. But honestly, like, owning a Picasso, for the everyday human being, don't be afraid to buy a reproduction of a Picasso print, because what you're going to get from that on a daily basis is everything Picasso stood for. And that is well worth having as a reminder in your home on a regular basis. Real art, beautiful. Yes, in the flesh, the real thing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But when it comes to reminding you of beauty, a high quality print that captures the colours so that for a brief moment your eyes are tricked that could be the real thing. Primo, that is serving a purpose in your life. That is, I can't buy a Picasso either. Welcome to the boat. We're in the same boat. So I tell you what though, if you Google Picasso print, I reckon you can get your hands on one for less than $100. And there's one piece of artwork in my house, my parents' house actually, that I love more than almost any other piece. And it's from Picasso's Blue period. He painted a picture, and it's a person, very, very quickly drawn. It's blue, obviously, blue period. And it's a person from the back, so you can see a little bit of their hair, and they're hunched over. And it's a beautiful, beautiful picture. And I've seen it so many times. And as a child, this is a big thing. As a child, I never actually, thought of, did it have to be real or not real? It had an impact on me. And so I saw that as a beautiful, true form of art. Now, had I not been exposed to Picasso prints as a child, what would I have seen? I would have seen a few people at a farmer's market, my high school art teacher, and maybe a few people in my classroom. Now, if you're going to be an artist, that is a dangerously small world to live in, to realise how vast the world of creativity can be. And so when you talk about it like that, the best thing you can do for a child or your family or yourself, if you want to better understand art, or if you've got a creative child or a creative partner, and like we're not talking about, you don't need the real art, we've already established that. Fill your house with prints of artwork you find beautiful, and be exposed to what other life forms on the face of this planet were able to produce. And from that, your taste will evolve. It's like saying, oh, I live in New Zealand or I live in Australia, so we don't eat Malaysian, Indian, Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese. We don't eat these foods. We just have the regular lamb off the farm and a few potatoes. No. If we could actually go to India and have the food, we'd eat the food. But no. Get the whole palette. Like, yes, a print's not as great as the real thing, but in terms of enjoying, say, Vietnamese food, if you can get a reproduction of it here in New Zealand, it's not the real thing from Vietnam. No, it's not the real thing. But it gives you a taste to open up your perspective to flavours, to better understand your palate, and to better understand what your favourites could be and where you might find them. That's important. That's so important. And we're so quick to disregard that and say, no, if I can't have the real thing, I'm not participating. That is your ego talking. That is wherever that's coming from, it's not something that's actually serving you in the way to make you the best version of you. And once you realise that, you'll start to resent it when you think like that. If you were a cheerleader for yourself, trying to make you the best version of yourself, that is something you'd be like, right, that needs to get cut. That's an opinion that's not helping us. Reprints, let's not go as far to say just as good, but they're very good. I don't want to say 80% of the way there. I want to say they're very different, but they serve an incredibly important purpose. That's what I'd say. Different, but serving an important purpose. Yeah. That's perfect. But if you can get the real one, there is a special allure. Like, you can hear about the cave paintings in Turkey, but actually standing beside them and seeing them, and funnily enough, they are so beautiful and valuable to humanity that we've now closed off where those cave paintings are and formulated an entire reproduction of it near it. And so when you go to visit them, you don't see them. You see the greatest similarity to them that we could replicate to then imagine what they could be. That's just like prints and artwork. That is the same, one for one. Perfect. Now, I want a bunch more white. Cutting white, streaming through it. That's what we're after. That is what we are after. Yeah, that's an old school cave paintings. Depending on your worldview, very, very old. Pretty stunning. There we go. That's the stroke that's first now defined that movement of the shoulders. Now see these colours we've got in there at the moment, those Naples yellows and greens and reds. Although they've been covered up in spots, they're not completely disappearing. They'll still exist, probably a few little spots in that final layer, but a lot of that initial coat exists to make the painting a little bit wild, exists to let us loosen up and form a connection with the subject matter. Going forward from there, our only job is to keep that wild element in it as we keep getting a bit more structure. Beautiful, just like that. Just like that. If you can hear that noise, that's my belly rumbling. It's pretty exciting. I had a coffee this morning, but I haven't had time to smash some food just yet, so we will suffer from a few little belly rumbles. That's okay. Have a great day. Thanks for joining in, Chad. I will catch you, my friend, on the flip side. I appreciate you. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Big cascading shapes. I wonder if we're going to leap on a dark colour next or a light colour. Who knows? Who knows? Probably, I'm going to swap the size of the brush. We'll pick that one in there. Hello, JB. How you doing? You know, I've never heard of Hanna-Barbera before. This is news to me. But I'm excited. Imagine all the people living for today. You. Hey Felipe. Hey Sam. Jeepers, everyone's leaving in. Give me a moment to paint, team. Jeepers creepers. Hey Santiago. I saw your name pop up earlier. There had a couple of emojis in there, which makes you hard to miss. There we go. Right. We've got quite a rusty brush here. See that? You can hear that noise. It's got a bit of stick to it. It's fine bristles, but they're slightly stiff. Now this is good. This is good. Because we're going to get in here and get quite etchy with our strokes and pull through layers as we go. And use it to start embedding in just a little bit of that beautiful, beautiful turquoise. Just a little bit. Lovely. Just picture to come forward. Oh. So we're combining these two colours as we go. So it's swapping in from dark green back to light green. And on an up-close perspective of it, you'll see colours dancing backwards and forwards. So they're not just raw in one direction, they're chopping and changing. That's part of the beauty. It's what we're after. It's part of the fun. Flintstones, Jetsons, Yogi Bear, so just, yeah. Flintstones is probably my favourite there. I like Bam Bam. Bam Bam was trouble. And I reckon Bam Bam knew how to have a good time. You need a strong mother and father figure. That guy would have hit high school. Really looked after people. I reckon Bam Bam was head boy once he got into high school. Of course, we never saw that age, but it's my guess. Tacky. Well, I appreciate the sentiment. Unfortunately, I just hate Masonite borders. But what's not to be understated there is the level of enthusiasm you have. It's to be encouraged. Scooby-Doo. Yeah, you're up with Scooby-Doo. What a good dog. How about a Bam Bam painting in the future, you reckon? Big old cartoon. Yeah, there's a guy who does, an artist, I forget his name, he does cartoons, renditions. Splashes paint everywhere, goes really wild. It's a cool technique. It's I couldn't do it permanently, but he does it with all the cartoons. Crash Bandicoot. He's probably done the Flintstones. He does the Simpsons and things like that. It's the same technique. So there's an element of craft that's now built into it, in the way he makes it. But the actual pictures themselves are, I mean, they're beautiful. They're fun. That'd be one that I would suggest. I can imagine the originals are quite expensive. It's very heavy paint. There's lots of planning. He's got a proper studio and things. But if you get your hands on a print, like, that's a great artist to buy prints from, to understand. Usually we only see Crash Bandicoot on a PlayStation 1 or on a pixelated screen most of the time. It's fun to see these child icons in the form of actually physical art in a room that's not from a lit up screen. So usually artists who do replicate things like The Simpsons, like Crash Bandicoot, like Spyro, in a beautiful way, these can be quite fun purchases for prints for you to make. Your brain has not seen these subject matters in the form of non-lit up content. So that can be fun for you. Or not, you know. You're your own individual. Get to choose. Get to choose. Here we go. Imagine all the people living for today. You may say that I'm a dreamer. You know I'm not the only one. There we go. Splash that around. And the world will live as one. Cheers, Chair. I appreciate that. Good to have you in here. Now this is for the first time, team, a bang-on correct colour for exactly what the statue has on it. A combination of unbleached titanium, turquoise, and a deep sap green. So those three colours in tandem actually create the Liberty statue. I mean, there's a spectrum of shades. There's areas where the light hits it in a bunch of different ways. So when I say that's the colour, that's one of a spectrum of pigments that would make her character. But it's a very, very important one. So we're excited to have it in here. It was just a fun thought since you like Bam Bam. Yeah, well, I think in terms of doing those caricatures, it's interesting. I could play with it, but like I say, there's a few artists who do it in a way that I find really beautiful, and when I find an artist who does what I want to see and they already make it, it makes me less inclined to copy it, because I'm like, there it is, it's made, it exists in the world. I'm excited by that. But when I look at the likes of things that haven't been done, I don't think enough people are doing an impressionism style that is wild, colourful and free, and a style that actually uses more of the body with movement than it does actually use the value the end product. You're so confused, Justin. What's going on? I'm so confused, lol. If you've got comments disappearing, Justin, TikTok does a huge favour for us. And when you say swear words or rude things, usually it'll stop it. So, unless you're saying something rude, offensive, racist, sexist, you should be fine. So it's, honestly, red flag at the moment. But do I make random strokes? No, I try not to. I don't. Every stroke comes from checking the artwork itself. If there were random strokes in it, it would be expressionism. It would be that, yes, there's a picture, but I'm ignoring that. I'm making something that's more from my own imaginations, feelings and expressions than it is from the external world. In this case here, this image is influencing every stroke I make, because this artwork is twisted only in that it has to go through me to be representative, and my use of these materials, my understanding of the world and my ability to create it morph the product. They either change it, limit it, all these factors come into it, and that's the beauty behind it. We want to hear a certain person's opinion. We want to see into someone else's perspective, and that's where the beauty in art comes in, that this is the Statue of Liberty, but this is the Statue of Liberty through the eyes of a crazy New Zealand artist. So that's the beauty behind it. But if there were random strokes in it, you're getting less of the Impressionism element behind it. And the Impressionism thing is what I find beautiful, because I think rather than me trying to express the inside of my soul through paint, I find that when I completely lock onto something, get addicted to a picture, an idea of liberty, or a family, or a photo of a loved one, let me lock on and really focus on every line, contour and colour. And through that, actually expose more of my perspective. See, you always wonder how much about your own perspective can you understand if you're actually trying to view it. And so every artist doing expressionism and abstract work, there's sometimes, and you dance close to the flame, there's a narcissistic or ego element to it. You know, it's hard to remove it, of you being like, this is how I see the world. As in, I understand myself enough to know how I see the world, and therefore I display it for you. Whereas what normally happens is it's actually, this is how I'd like you to see the way in which I see the world. And that assumes, but you're much more vulnerable with Impressionism, because what you do is you forget the possible viewer of the artwork, you lose yourself in trying to create it, it goes wrong, it goes right, there's a craft, there's a process. At the end of it, you say, this was my best attempt at capturing what I saw when I saw that, and I tried not to lie on any front. And then the world looks at that art and says one of two things. Oh my God, I see it, we share a connection, or wow, that's awful, I hate you, I hate everything you do, please quit, and then next time I see you, you better be asking me if I want fries with that. One of the two. And that's why when we talk about exposing yourself through art, it can be the scariest thing to be exposed and vulnerable, but that's what true Impressionism demands. And you'd be like, well, it'd be okay if I knew I was going to get my break. You just don't know if you ever will. And the reason behind that is if you look at Van Gogh, the greatest of all time, post-Impressionist painter, did he ever get a break? He never got a break. So the best of all time never had that moment of connection with someone else. He died and then the world saw the art. The only time we get to feel like he may have got it is when we watch that episode of Van Gogh and Doctor Who transports into the future and gets to see his work in Chicago being loved by thousands of people. Prior to that, in his real life, the guy made beauty. The guy saw the world and tried to recreate it and paint on a canvas, and the world ignored it. So you have to be willing to accept that maybe in your pursuit of creating something beautiful on a canvas and really expressing yourself, everyone may hate what they see, and worse than that, they may just completely ignore you. So for that to be a valuable journey to go on, you have to find value in it, in and of itself, just for you. As if no one ever found your art, if no one ever found what you were doing, if no one ever cared, would you still, at the end of that life, do it again? And if the answer is yes, the art's been made for all the right reasons, with or without the rest of the world seeing it. You say, if a tree fell in the forest, would anyone have heard it fall? Or did it actually fall at all? I feel like that same philosophy is getting close to this, where you say, if you made art just for yourself your entire life and no one else saw it, would you still have done it? If the answer is no to that question, then you should stop now, not later. It needs to be the very process of doing it itself has to be the fulfilling part of it. Let's get a darker colour. Let's get something with a bit of kick to it. Alright. Deep green. Have you been to America and seen the actual Statue of Liberty? Yes, I have. Been to America 7 times. I've seen the Statue of Liberty maybe 5 or 6 times. So, and she stands for 3 things. I just need to remember what those things are. No. Liberty, hope, freedom. And those are powerful messages to make. And so that's why I was quite hell-bent at the start of this journey to alter that arm. Because I said, this here, this reaching forward that she had, this crimped up shoulder, this is desperation, this is reaching, this is desire. The Statue of Liberty doesn't stand for desire. She stands for liberty, hope, freedom. And that means squared shoulders and power in the moment. And so that's why we're making that little bit of adjustment. You'll see now that this hand actually is moved slightly away from the face, not enough to make her like a muscle chick, but enough to make you feel like she's just reaching out with her hand to say, I stand here. That's what we're after here. That's the purpose of what's going on. Alright, deep dark greens. The hope element, we'll get the hope through these, not erratic, but sometimes crazy, wild, little splashes of colour, little moments. The whole picture is going to be childish in the way that you'll feel hope, like a child feels hope that they'll enjoy the play of making a painting in the comfort of their parents' home. You'll feel hope in the playful, bright colours that we capture the picture with. Her posture will let you know the stance on freedom that she has. And the whole thing in itself, with its colours and brushstrokes, and the way in which we capture the green goddess, should give you a beautiful, soft feeling of peace and love. Not as if the message has been forced on you, but as in, no matter what you do, this is what I believe in, and you're welcome to join. That's the statue needs to give off a strong perspective, but a welcoming presence, both at once. Hayley, I get my clothes from second-hand shops. Except, I recently ordered some shirts online because I got advertised to on Instagram and Facebook and I couldn't help myself. So I paid $5 a shirt for 10 shirts. I thought that'll be fun for painting in. So I've got a little bit behind actually getting into op shops and buying shirts at the moment. So I thought that'll see me through till I can actually catch up a little bit. And like I say, these pants themselves as well, you can see a few little marks actually coming into them. So we're dealing with things like this. Favourite art museum? Coming in with a big questions on a Tuesday, Monday. Favourite art museum? Give me a moment. Probably the Chicago. It'd be an American museum. I don't think it would be in New York. Would it? I like Chicago. Look, a lot of museums have a lot going for them. I love the art galleries in Europe. I love Europe art galleries. Whereabouts most? Probably Barcelona does some good ones. But museums, I love American museums and European art galleries. The oil paints. Well, these are actually, your oil paints. These are all acrylic paints, but I combine a lot of stuff through it, so it's going to look like oils. Don't worry, that happens a lot. People are like, oh, are those oils? They look so buttery. I like acrylics to behave like butter. I want butter that dries in that sort of 2 to 3 day mark. That's where we're at. Salute from Canada. One of my good friends is called Sebastian. Lucky guy. No, it's a good name. Good name. The only problem with the name Sebastian and the name Seb is that usually when it comes down to things like telling your name on the phone, Seb and Sebastian, you say Seb. It doesn't have that consonant to it, and so you hear Steve and Sid and, Steve. So when I say Seb on the phone, I say Seb. S is an elephant. S is in serpent. S is in serpent. E is in elephant. B is in bike. And in that sense, being a 3-letter name, kind of helpful because you can quickly spell it out for people, which I reckon is kind of cool. In French, we say Seb. Celine, I like Save. Save. That works. It works well. My little brother's girlfriend, when they say Sebastian. All fun ways to say it. Right, let's get I want some danger colour. Alright, we're into some danger colour here. We're going into our blacks. Blacks are dangerous. Who remembers why blacks are dangerous? Blacks are dangerous because they define. They define and they destroy everything around them in their attempt to define in a painting. So when we use black, we don't usually gain when we use black. What we get from black paint is we take from wild, crazy, primal colour and we move it to definition. And if we do too much of it, we just end up with a disaster. get just the right amount. That's the key here. That's the key. So black is essential. It's absolutely essential to a painting. Some people will be like, art teachers will say, don't use black, don't ever use black. That's like telling people stay away from fire because it's dangerous. Fire is very useful. We use fire. Combustion engines have been a huge part of the 21st and in the 21st century. You can't just not have combustion engines. Just like if an art teacher says to you, black's dangerous, avoid it. You need to actually read into that and just understand that actually you can have, black is a fire, but you have to dance close to the flame. Oh, we're getting that little verify to continue thing. There we go. All colours are dangerous in an acting world. Fair, Gene, but nothing is more dangerous than carbon black. Carbon black doesn't mix with other colours. When blue meets yellow, you get more green. When yellow meets red, you get some orange. When black meets anything, you get, I'm dark tone and I will take over this work. So just watch out for that. It's dangerous. Do I paint sativa? I've never painted sativa, but I like your attitude towards it. Alright, you ready? I'll chuck some black around this picture. Some of these lines are going to be quite fine cut lines too. We're not going to get too overly excited on making sure we do big bold areas. These cut lines are what's going to be most important there. Sativa. Sneak out through that. There's a little cut line through there, we'll grab that. And then there's this lovely dark patch here around the head. It's beautiful around the chin here. I'm not shy from that. When you get that, there we go, lovely. And then there's actually, it doesn't recognise the face as much as it does cut through that part there. It's lovely. And then just up in here, there we are, down on the face, touch points. I'm afraid to completely break this face up a little bit as we just grab these larger shapes. Ah, lovely. Just down through there too. Just like that. Yeah, nice. Nice. Down through here. Lovely. Just going to sneak down. Just through there like that. A little bit more. There we are. Beautiful. And hello Sebastian, great name. Christo, do I sell this? This one here is not going to be for sale. Cannot buy this one, but prints will be made available. So if you're after a print, you'll be able to get a print of this one. But that being said, one of the most beautiful parts about this work is the creation process. So you're actually right now in what I'd argue is one of the most fun parts to be in. You can see now we've added a lot of colours which have slowly fallen back and they make little moments in the picture inside the base coat that wouldn't have existed otherwise. And that's actually part of the beauty in the work. So, but you can't see all the colours and where we added them and how they got there. The end result's beautiful because you can see everything as the final result. But you miss out sometimes on that beauty line in the layers underneath. So much so that I used to sell prints of layers in between. That way you wouldn't have to, it wouldn't just be lost or in a replay. You could actually buy a print of the work before it reached completion at a stage of colour that you enjoyed the most. It's kind of fun. Kind of fun. Next colour off the ranks. Great question. That is a great question. How do you see white? If black's so dangerous, how dangerous is white? Good question. Good question. You've got the hate out on that dark black colour. What do you make of the white colour? The way I paint, where I use bold, singular colours and do very little mixing, white is just as dangerous as black, if not more dangerous. It's because you don't treat it with the same level of caution. So white is just a tone on the other end of the spectrum, and if they're both bold, black and the white, and you're not mixing them, the white can be so stark, trying to define those larger, more pale or white shapes, that it's really hard to deal with. And it's easy to paint over black with my style. You get a nice strong opaque colour, and you run it over the blacks, and you start building out the light. But if you've got light everywhere, it's even harder to come in there with those other colours and darker tones to fix it. So white is dangerous. White is the most dangerous because it's unsuspecting. Watch out for that. And if you're wondering why work doesn't seem to float too nicely with you sometimes, if you're looking through a gallery and you see something, you're like, why? It looks right, but I don't like it. Sometimes they've gone too far to the light, they've tried to draw it back to the darkness, and it feels weird, it doesn't look right, the colours sit worse. You almost had an anxiety attack climbing up the inside of the statue. Wow. Is it quite claustrophobic, is it? I've never been on the inside of it. That's a fresh perspective for me. But we are going to use some white right now. Here I am being like, it's dangerous, watch out for it, scary, could ruin everything. Anyway, let's use that thing. Here we go. Let's put you about here. There we are. We're going to get quite bold here. So you can see the picture at the moment is slightly more of a darker tone. It's in that vicinity of falling. I mean, there's a few bright colours in here, but not enough to really make it pop out at you. You need to actually, it needs white. So we're going to enter the danger zone. Danger zone time. You ready? Here we go. Especially on this top here. We need to be even more brash with the intensity of the white too. So it's going to try and mix in a whole bunch more than we'd give it credit for. There we go. Beautiful. Lovely. See, it's mixing so fast that actually it's less scary than the black in that sense. It's so quick to lose the intensity that it's got. Beautiful, and over here too. Beautiful. Can you do a frog painting once, Pauline? Frogs. I mean, I've never painted a frog before. Could do one. Alright, let's get a bit more through here. Beautiful. Okay. And a little bit of give me a lighter colour. No. Maybe. No. Maybe. Using colours? Yeah, so they do smother each other. You can still see elements, and especially down around this part here, little touches of red, but these are small in the bottoms. They're light amounts in the final, there'll be small amounts in the final picture, but at the stage of the drawing, they have this beautiful soft tone underneath the majority. Just keep building it out, just keep throwing colours at it, seeing what it becomes. Enjoying it, that's the most important thing, especially in these early layers, to enjoy what you're making. Let it just be a fun process. Let that fun, the work, lacks something. I always say this. People are like, I've got this grueling process when I make art. I go through all these wild, boring layers, and I'm wondering how to enjoy what I do more. I'm not feeling fulfillment from it. Like, you just see why you're not feeling fulfillment. You've got to find fun in it. You're like, you don't have to do those boring, grueling layers if they're not helping the painting. Or you need to find a way to make them enjoyable, loose and fun. But we're so quick to think that what we love should break us. It's like this unhealthy addiction to it. It's like, is that something that we've been taught in the 21st century via movies or social media, to feel like what is actually meaningful in our lives should actually hurt us? The most ridiculous sentiment I've ever heard. Things that are meaningful should build you, make you feel like more. Here we go. Beautiful. The base of Statue of Liberty was made from granite quarried at later became Dana Ross. Oh, there you go. He's in the know. He's in the know. Cheers, Gene. Thanks for coming on, and catch you later. Appreciate you being here. Lovely. Okay, let's get a little bit of... I'm going to jump off these soft acrylics and leap on some heavy acrylics. Hey AJ, what made you decide you wanted to be an artist? Always. I've always wanted to be an artist. Nothing's changed. I do talk about one brief period when I was 5, where I wanted to be a dinosaur scientist. I guess after art school, or during art school or after university, I never believed that maybe art could be something that I found. I guess I just believed the best way to help everyone and be a part of this planet was to not do art. And it was only after years of working a different job, but actually doing my art in the evenings to provide me with personal sanity, that I realised, and then obviously people seeing it online and getting fulfillment from it, that I realised actually the best way I can make the world a happier place is by making art in this world and doing what serves me the best. See, art's somewhat of a selfish pursuit, because your reason behind art needs to be that you need it. If you don't need it, then your art quickly becomes craft as you seek to do what other people want you to do. You become a people pleaser with your own identity. You say, who do you want me to be, just so I can make you a painting? But actually, what we want is we want to see someone being the most real, authentic version of themselves. And if you can give that out to the world, then the artwork, not just you as a person, but the artwork gives them permission to let their own light shine, in a cheesy way. Cheers, JB. We'll catch you later. And cheers, Mike. Good to have you in here, you absolute champion. Come down here. Lady Liberty looking gorgeous. More to go, Mike. She's loose and she's wild, but she's in a fun place. I'm liking where she's at. She's looking different from last time we touched her, but that's a good thing in this case. She's looking wild, and I felt when we left her after that first session, though it was fun, and we're like, I see her. I was like, yeah, but I probably got a little bit anxious because I was live on Instagram and there were, everyone was loving it, and so I wanted to show people more detail, and because of that, I retracted from making loose, wild brushstrokes, and the end result of layer 1 wore, dare I say it, just a little bit of consequence from that. And so, what's the solution? It's not game over. You've just got to get in there and just be a little bit crazy with it. Be a little bit wild, be a little bit chaotic, and see if we can't get some of that. So I want there to be an element of chaos underneath the surface of Liberty. Not because it's a comment so much, or could be, on freedom and the innate beautiful chaos that exists when we're given freedom, but because I see personal beauty in that, the order that comes from chaos, see from up close or from far away, you could see Liberty, and although that's fun, I don't want you to be able to see her straight away from all distances. I want her to be, from up close, ambiguous, and then the further you move away, the more she appears and shows up out of the picture for you. That's what we want here. Was just there this last summer to see her in person. Alright. Now we're talking. There. Beautiful. A little on the face here. Let's get up in here. So we've moved off the soft body, guys. That's important. I'm now using heavy bodied acrylics. They're going to sit on top much more. Kind of like mixing oils with acrylics. They won't mix. Howdy Link, how we doing? I appreciate that, all the way from Orlando. The print of New York City. Oh yes! I love that, AJ. It will be available, it depends on how fast we finish this. We're on about hour 3 at the moment, and it could be anywhere between 5 and 20 hours. I think this one here is lining up about 10 to 12 hours, but that's just me guessing. That means, like at a roulette table, after you've got the results there beside you, and you start guessing on how much further you think there is to go, or when red's going to show up. You don't really know, you're just shooting from the hip. Prosperous and some. Alright. Proud of you, Link. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. I'm doing fantastically, Link. Get to be here. It's rained a little bit, so we're inside a shed, but that's okay. The air's still fresh. Beautiful air. And I get to be here doing what I love. I'm sharing it with you guys. You guys stop me from having to do this all by myself, lonely. And hopefully I'm able to share something a little bit special with you back. We can have a little moment here together. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. These lovely cut lines between the tablets there. Ha! I love that, Link. One day. Well, Link, the good thing for you though, if you are thinking about a painting, you're saying one day, you don't have to hurry. The price does tend to go up over time, but the beauty behind it is I'm going to be doing this for my life. So this is what I do. And since you know that, if it ends up being 10, 5, 15, 20 years, you don't just miss out. You want to be like, I wanted one of his paintings, but now he's retired and he works at a gas station, or he ran off and became a cowboy in Arizona. Like, although these things might happen, definitely gonna say they might happen, I'll still produce art. So, although the sooner you'd have it, you'd have more beauty in your life if it would provide that for you. You don't need to worry because the opportunity to get it won't disappear on you. That's what I'm trying to say. That's fantastic, AJ. I'm glad to hear it. That was actually a super fun work to make. I was watching that reel recently because TikTok lost their music license, and so I need to replace a lot of the songs, especially the ones I used Taylor Swift on. And I was there watching that one again, and I thought, oh, it just starts the most fun. It comes together. It's wet and buttery in its style, which makes it feel like it's not raining, but it's this slightly wet street with the reflections glancing off it. I love it. I love it. I'm glad you love it too. That's something we share. Well, I have a glowing light for the torch, absolutely, but we've been touching on a lot of these tans and greens, and the light doesn't have that touch to it, so it will have that to it. Not a fake one. We won't go too far over the top, but we will add a little touch on the top. Absolutely. Can we exchange a painting for Disney World tickets? I like your style, Link. I like your style. That's the way to get things done. That's a forward-thinking attitude. I tell you what, I've got a baby on the way, and if that baby turns to the correct age, we may be able to talk in the future. I'll be like, look, now that I've got a child, my opinions on those Disney World tickets have changed drastically. If that offer's still on the table, I would love to go. And question, how good are you at babysitting? I wouldn't do that to you. Go. Lovely. Alright, let's get some a little bit more detail in there on a few spots. Maybe with some red. Maybe, we're going to do that? Or is red too stark? Let's use a little bit of red and see how we go. See how we go. Hello, Richard. I'm doing fantastically. Thanks, Link. Appreciate you. Sorry to duck in and duck out. This is looking amazing. Bye. Mike, it's just a pleasure to have you here, mate. I hope you don't mind. I think I followed you on Threads the other day. But anyway, you get yourself some work, shut-eye, or travel, whatever you're about to do. Hope it goes well for you. Good morning. And would you ever do a painting of the island of New Zealand? I was actually talking with someone recently about doing a surprise picture of New Zealand, a landscape. It probably won't be going off the ground, but the idea of doing some New Zealand landscapes is definitely quite a cool one. Definitely quite a cool one. There we are. Beautiful. Just subtly combining it. Kind of feels like it's been kissed by the, because it is being touched by light, so we want to make sure that's slightly evident in the picture itself. Thanks, Neo. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Alright, let's get this down here. More red, get that neck sorted. Beautiful. Not completely sorted, but a good start. Oh, click my neck a little bit, that's necessary. Oh, I'm going to get my solar plexus a click actually, hold on. That's a good stretch. Right over the back. What's your next painting going to be of? AJ, we're working on a couple right now. So I've got two portraits that I'm doing little touch moments on at the moment. I've got this one here. I've got a beautiful, beautiful picture of a baby, which I'm just thinking about the frame on, slowly building it out. I've got um, lovely, yeah, so Phyllis Feathers, I mentioned that one. What else was there? There's one other one. Couple of go at the moment though. A real interesting eclectic mix. That sun's beating down into here. Lovely. Beautiful. Next colour. What is it going to be? Let's get some more blue in there. Blue, 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 blue. Here we are. Beautiful. Beautiful. When am I coming to Italy? That would be fun. Well, let's just say I haven't booked a flight yet. Here. Nice. But when was the last time I was in Italy? About 2 years ago now. Jeepers, time flies. Beautiful place though. You know that. You don't need me to tell you that. Splash it around there. You have a house in Italy, AJ. Good stuff. I enjoyed walking the streets of Rome. Just looking around. Seeing all the stuff. I used to study classics, so it was quite fun to see all the buildings and things that I'd actually spent time in my childhood seeing and researching, and kind of fun to actually have it become real in front of you. Oh, when? Jeepers. I can't remember exactly when it was, but 2000 and I think it was 2022 now. I think it was 2022, which is going back a wee way. Borderline all the way back. There we go, all the way to the top there. Creep all the way around here. Alrighty tidy. Diver, I appreciate you sharing the live. And Richard, I appreciate that too. Lovely of you to say so. Too good. I'm loving how much. Liana, this painting is not for sale. Not for sale. So this one here is a commission. Commission. And It's very much real. It's an absolute mess right now. But it's real. In its messy, crazy state. I was fantasizing about creeping around the back of the canvas and building out the picture. If you've been to Mexico, who's been to Mexico? Hello from the Netherlands. Is that Banker? Banker. And, Jules, thanks for jumping in. Appreciate you being here and subscribing. You're a legend. Of course I love Italy. That's the rain I was talking about. That's the concern. Anyway, what I was saying was, if you've been to Mexico, you'll know that in Mexico, their artwork, they make these amazing statues. And what they would do is they would actually paint the back of the statue, not paint it, underneath the statue. So they have this giant, beautiful serpent, and underneath the serpent, they'd actually carve stuff you'd never actually see, but made it absolutely stunning the whole way up and down. So the idea of having elements in a painting that you don't see, but come with it, is kind of beautiful. And you paint around the back of the picture, and in the frame itself could actually be in about 4 inches. And so from a side angle you'd see the frame, but you'd see beautiful paint both on the front and back. And so at closer studying, there's more to see about a picture. I kind of like that. Hello Jules, I'm doing well. It is raining. It's hammering down. Hope you're good too, Jules. You've come at a pretty wild stage of the painting, but it's going well. It's going well. Paint's everywhere, as you can see. It's looking good. It's looking wild. It's looking good. This is something I'm getting pretty attached to this. You get more and more paint on this palette board. Just scoop around the back here a little bit. There we go. We need a bigger brush. Here we go. This is what I'm after. We want those zero chill. Giant. There we are. That's what we're after. That's a unit. Now let me get all this messy, disgusting colour I've got here. Let it bleed a little bit. I'm going to go around the back of this a wee bit. Give myself the opportunity that I'm talking about of actually getting both sides of this on display. Oh, it's just lovely. All the way around. Lovely. Give it to me. All the way around. Up the top there. Beautiful. Beautiful. All the way down to the bottom. Lovely. And around the edges here. Right down here. Get it in there. Come on. Here we are. All the way. Using the bigger brush for this. Oh, it's a tough one. Whew. He's a Kiwi. He is a Kiwi. How much the painting, Victoria? I appreciate that. First off, you're an absolute legend, and I appreciate the love. This one won't be available for purchasing. This is a commission. But because it's something that we really love, a lot of us feel quite passionately about the Statue of Liberty, this is the one I will make available on prints. But we have to finish it first, and like I say, there's anywhere between another 5 to another 20 hours to go. I'm guessing about 8 to 12. Why the other site? That's a good question. And the reason I'm at another site is because I've gone down to Tauranga, Sheldon's away working, and yeah, just keep more New York City themed ones coming out so you can get a collection. Pretty fun actually. But I'm down in Tauranga at the moment. I was going to be outside in the wilderness, but you can hear the rain gently coming down. So we're inside. We're inside slashing around wild paint. And I'm so crazy today, so loose and wild and ridiculous, that I'm actually painting the back of this masonite board. Because I want to give myself the opportunity to give this quite a unique style of frame. A kind of frame that you can't get. I repeat this, you can't get it if you're ordering a canvas wood. Because a canvas can't go around the back as much as we are right now. So, not that that's a reason not to do canvases, but this is just something I want to leave myself open to when I'm talking with this lovely pieces client and say, hey, how do you feel about something, let's say, very, very unique and different? Usually people are hesitant, but they do have this, there's an allure to the new, there's an allure to the different, and this might just be quite a special way of going about painting. There we go. Oh, stunning. Lovely. I'd pay to get Adi, great name by the way, short for Adiana, I'm just guessing. But I used to do paint and sip nights. Most recent one I did was with 5-year-olds. There's a reel on it, and there's a real blast actually. Oh. You see that? So, I know. Okay, so I literally was squeezing this white onto the plate, and as I was squeezing it, the end of it exploded. And now, I've got white on my hand, white on my shirt, and white on my pants. More importantly, that means I need to squeeze the reverse side of this paint to actually get some. There's a crazy old world out here. That has never ever happened. These are plastic tubes. These are plastic. They should not do that. And yet here we are. It's doing that. Plastic never pops like that. The other types do. It's a unique experience. It's fresh. Swapping to our voila makeup brush. Makeup brush for white. And you start pampering this picture with it. Stand back about here. I just want to get it in a few of these little areas. I'd be afraid of getting a little bit. The paint's getting a little bit sloppy as it gently tries to dry on the surface here. That's okay, it'll still work for how far we want to go today, but you've got to be careful at this stage that you don't allow the whole picture to turn into a sort of porridgey mess. And that's the risk you run when you start adding paint on at this stage of the game. Now it doesn't mean we can't come back on another layer and get positively wild, but right now we are getting down into the danger zone. It's fine right now. I'm just warning y'all that we're encroaching towards the danger zone. Are you going to make this? Yes. Yes, AJ. Yes. We'll see, though. We'll see how we go on with the process first and foremost. That's one of the most vital parts about it, how the process continues and what it looks like. But I think this will make a lovely addition, especially since we've already got a few print works up on the same theme, like we're talking about New York and things like that. There's a beauty to actually continuing that the collection that's growing there. It's kind of fun. Alright, this will be the last. Will it be? Maybe we might leave across onto one more. Maybe. Maybe. Down into the danger zone. Here we go. There we go. Nice. See what I mean by white taking over the picture? See, with just those few strokes, actually, a lot of the other colours just fall back, become pale, and let it actually take full control. Now, that doesn't mean not using white. That means, jeepers, be careful with that colour. Be careful. Like that character in, what's his name? Be careful what you wish for. Ricky Bobby? No. Careful what you wish for. He puts it. What movie's that off, team? Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. He stabs a knife in his hand. Who knows that movie? Painting takes anywhere between 5 and 20 hours. We just don't know how fast these layers are going to want to actually come together when push comes to shove. So, while we're having a lot of fun, we aren't able to actually ascertain effectively how much longer we've got to go until we get close to the completion window. We just have to trust that actually there is a completion window, and by enjoying the process, we're heading the direction of it. And if that takes 50 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours, then so be it. We're on a journey and this is happening. We just have to actually just be here for it and let it happen. Going down into the danger zone. And here, run back again, team. Beautiful. Lovely. Lovely. Down. Alright, I'm going to lay that flat because the amount of thick textures on it. Let it dry a little bit. Let it start to settle. And then... You like it, Andy? I'm glad. It's look, I'll bring you closer to it so you can understand how wild this painting is. Okay. So, this is our painting here. You can see the shed behind me here. Now, there's a few little red tones and Naples yellows that we started with at the start. But if we come right up close here, we're going to slowly start losing the definition of Liberty. We're going to start seeing more just crazy paint. So if I come right back to about here, you can sort of see Liberty over my shoulder. That's what we're after. At this point, still early days, so we're not seeing a full picture just yet. We're in that sort of crazy wild stage still. There's still like 30 pigments to add. But as we come closer, that idea of Liberty should completely break down. It should break down to building blocks of just wild paint strokes. And we get to here. Let's look. I'm going to show this part on the arm right here, which Looks a little bit like a sleeve coming up at this stage, but if we come right up to it, this is what it is. This is that wilderness. This is how crazy the paint gets up close. Just absolutely wild. You see how you can tell with your eye the colour that's used, the way the paint strokes happened, and that it was done with a brush. That's really important. So when you come right back and the picture formulates and you see the whole image, at this moment still, chaotic. But you know that if you go up close, you can understand it. There's no trickery from the artist trying to create illusions of no paint bristles or brush bristles, or trying to gently blend so you can't actually understand, like an optical illusion of creating a mirror into reality. I'm not trying to create a photo here. I'm trying to allow you to see how it's made if you go up close. It doesn't have secrets. It's wild. It's chaotic. It's free. Anyway, I'm going to let that dry and lay it flat. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a great day or a great night. And hopefully I will see you again soon. Maybe either tonight or tomorrow morning. We'll see. Anyway, it's been fun. And cheers, guys. We hit 25,000 likes, that's cracking. That's fantastic. Appreciate you all. Appreciate the love. Thanks, Jules. Thanks, Jay Smith. Thanks, Richard. Look after yourselves, guys. All the best. Bye now. There we go.